St Christopher's School in Wrexham is one of the largest special schools in Wales, and award-winning head teacher Maxine Pittaway has created an innovative, socially enterprising school environment.
We'll all be fine. I'm just sorting you out. Don't want you coming apart in the middle of it all. We have a very open door policy, so we take children with all sorts of disabilities or difficulties. And our ethos, I think, is about everybody building their future and doing something that they can do to the best of their ability. And I think it runs right through the school that we challenge the children, and then we just hope that along the journey they make with us, they become good citizens when they leave.
St Christopher's have created a unique environment for learning. Alongside their academic studies, teachers and students are successfully running sustainable social enterprises from within the school premises.
You're going to the club tonight, Hattie, to help?
What they've discovered is that these opportunities for independent learning and peer mentoring fitted well into the assessment for learning model that they've embedded throughout the school.
Our main enterprises are our hair salon, our cafe, our beauty salon, our car valeting business. So it's real life experiences that give children an experience of the community that they're in.
Is there anybody now who would like to give their feedback in front of the group to the person next to them?
When they first applied the assessment for learning model across the school, Maxine and her team realised that they needed to find creative ways to ensure peer mentoring and assessment was given a safe place to flourish, particularly for those teachers working with behaviour support.
So some of your capital letters you should make a bit bigger, make them stand out as capitals.
Assessment for Learning's worked really well with the behaviour support unit because they'd always wanted that type of philosophy and structure. They work well with structures. The only difficulty with them is there are children that do not accept criticism from their peers because they don't want to share their work with somebody else. They don't want somebody to look at it. They don't want to experience some of the critical parts of the assessment for learning. They just want to have a good tick at the end of their work and be told, that's a great job you're doing there, and move on to the next stage. So we've adapted it considerably in that area.
OK, you've had a chance to look at your own work now. And in a second, you're going to become teacher for about 5 minutes. And you're going to look at somebody else's work. And we're going to give that person some feedback and say how we think they've done. Before we have the skills framework, there was a lot more content into the curriculum, and so the assessment tended to be more around the content that had been met in a fairly individualised way. But with the skills framework, we've had to change because we're looking at where skills are specifically where skills are being met. I think in many ways as a school we were slightly ahead of the game because we've always had to look at those issues of basic skills and how they develop with our pupils, but it's refocused us. Nobody is going to pick up the book and laugh at it and say, oh, that's a load of rubbish. Yeah? Because how do you feel if somebody does that?
I wouldn't be happy.
You wouldn't be happy. Shannon?
Upset.
Upset, OK. In terms of tracking pupils and assessment in general, the challenge is that our pupils do invariably make small steps. The national curriculum itself is delivered to you in quite large chunks, and you have to go away and break that down. It's important because otherwise the pupils may feel that if you were simply to level them, they may be on level 1 for a long time, and that's no use to anybody. They have to know that the level really is irrelevant. It's that they are making progress and how they are making progress. And they're also getting used to accepting criticism and giving criticism in a positive way. We obviously do classroom-based activities, but to supplement those, we have a huge range of enterprise activities and off-site activities.
Oh, is this okay on your head? Yeah.
By developing enterprise education, St Christopher's have given their ex-students and current students opportunities for peer mentoring and peer assessment.
First of all, I came to St Christopher's when I was about 8, and I was in Ian Connell's class. Then I moved on to different classes. Age 14, I got a little bit fed up with the class, so I decided I want to become a hairdresser, so I came into the salon. I done OCN, Open College Network, and MVQ Level 1, then MVQ level 2, and I've gone on as a support worker for other students.
The hairdressing salon is based on the school premises and is run by students and staff as a successful business. But tutor Helen Jones applies the Assessment for Learning framework to all that they do.
A lot of people, including myself, I'm a very hands-on person, and I believe that assessment for learning, as long as they reinforce their knowledge and understanding of something through questioning, writing. We also use diaries as reflective practice. So again, that's reinforcing and helping the student to identify areas of weakness or further development. And the students don't have to just come at the end of a year to know their progression. We give student feedback, evaluation. Students are encouraged to give, evaluations as well, because it's not only them that it's important to develop, it's us as well. And there's no better feedback to get than from a student.
Been on medication since I was little, and since I've come here I've been able to come off some medication because it's calmed me a lot down. Graduated with me MVQ level 1 hair and beauty, and then I graduated with my key skills and got a diploma in administration. But I get on with quite a lot of pupils because I feel like I know where they've been, because I've been where they are right now. If they don't like school or if they come from a different school, so I can relate to them because I've been where they are.
I'm a real believer in assessment for learning because I think it gives children a clear guidelines, it makes them active participants in their lessons, and it also gives a clear structure to the teachers so they know exactly what they've got to do in any of their lessons. So it's quite consistent for children as well. And it also makes teachers aware how important it is to the children that they are encouraged during the lesson so that they know that they're on track and that they get from each other help and support. And enterprise education really gave us that opportunity that children could be really active in their learning.
Students taking part in the education enterprises at St Christopher's began to grow in confidence in their own independent learning and, most importantly, found a safe place to assess themselves as well as their peers.
Every MVQ file that we get, or every MVQ student that we get, we create 2 files. One for practical evidence, which all their assessment work goes into, and another one for their theoretical, to demonstrate underpinning knowledge. But we use it for literacy and for them to reflect back if they're unsure of anything. So if they ask me, it's like, go look at your diaries, it's there, you put it in your diary, and then again, it's up to the learner. Every assessment that they do, they write down the date, so they're actually, it's student-centred, they can see and note their progression, and they seem enthused by the fact as soon as they see the little completed units start to appear, then they can monitor themselves how many assessments they've got to do. And of course they then start to compare it with their peers as well, so that motivates them on even further. Alright, so what are you going to do now? Section hair. Why? Why do you section hair?
Helen delivers the MVQ course in hairdressing and in beauty. It's given her the opportunity to take a really practical subject and to then make it into a really academic subject. And her work, for me, if she's compiling a file, for example, about their skills, those skills need to be shared with teachers in other lessons because they can see then, well, they can do this here, so they should be able to do this somewhere else. So it's been really positive. And Helen has really embraced this, the whole notion of children learn by experience, which is really important, and transferable skills.
The only thing we're allowed to wear is a
Wedding
ring. Why can't we wear jewellery on it, so what have you?
The experiential learning is absolutely vital to our pupils. You're looking at their oracy skills, you're looking at how they are communicating with other people they don't know, yeah? Working with others, working with staff. You've then got obviously the numeracy skills where they're handling money and having to deal with, number and money hands-on.
People think children with special needs can't do things independently. They do struggle, but we always have a way, if you like, looking at a different option of how we can do it. All our work, obviously all our enterprise work, for example, is all about the children being independent learners. So that transferable skill then comes into the classroom.
At St Christopher's, they found that the social skills and growing independence the students acquired in enterprise education filtered back to the classroom, most significantly in peer-to-peer assessment. And this began with some of their youngest students.
Capital, so Tom knows himself, yeah? So you want advice, there's one capital letter in the wrong place. But I would say to Tom, look Tom, it's only a small thing, because your handwriting's lovely, your title's underlined, everything's great. Just one little thing, just that capital G. Other than that, brilliant. It is important that you do model these processes for the pupils. And at first we were doing it as staff. So I might use another member of staff in the classroom. Obviously I'd talk to them first and say, I really liked the way you did this and the way you did that, but you might be able to do this better. So it was all about modelling, and modelling really simple tasks. Well, you tell me, what would your feedback to Lewis be? Try and make him feel good, because it's only one little thing, so we don't want to go on about it, do we?
If you were going to put a capital letter, make sure you did after the full stop.
Yes. Okay, so tell him what you like now, the two things you like about his work.
It's clear.
It's clear handwriting, yeah.
It's got capital letters as well.
Yeah, good. I mean, as a teacher, one of the most nerve-wracking things you can do is stand before other teachers and talk about what you do and throw yourself open to your peers, you know, and these are their peers. And I think when they're talking to each other and listening to each other, it is far more important to have everything right and make it look as good as possible. You don't want to present your peers with something they can be overly critical about. And so it does give them that motivation, once they know the peers are going to look at it, to maybe just step it up and make sure that everything is going to be okay and do the very best.
We ban red pens. They are only allowed, the children can use them to underline their work, but no teacher's allowed to mark in red. And that, I think, made a real positive impact on the school and on their confidence. And we try as much as we can to always look for the positives and strengths of the children.
I think Lewis has done tremendous as well. So.
Has he done tremendous? Let's have a look. A great example, though, of peer-to-peer marking, once we established it, we did just do some work on creating sentences, and one young man made a range of errors throughout. After his peer had spoken to him, we repeated the exercise in the afternoon, and he did not make those errors again.
Because I think it's very important that children learn by doing things as well as them having academic activities in the classroom. And we found the more enterprise opportunities we gave to children, the better they became in doing the skills-based curriculum that we needed.
It's trying to teach learner autonomy, you know, getting them to think for themselves. They also get to learn as well that they're relied upon by not just us as staff, other students and their clients. It's growth. You see them grow and develop over that period of time that they're with us, and that is motivating for us as staff.
When you do something like the enterprise education or something like after-school clubs or putting in basic skills intervention packages, you can never say which is the one that makes the impact, because they're all measurable in their own areas and they're all good, but the impact is children improve. And our accreditation here has got better year on year, and I think it's all down to the actual structures we've put in place, especially with assessment for learning. It's the driving force, if you like, for every aspect of the school.